Hello, hello, a new episode, a new video of a yogi's life in the pandemic. I invited Chiara and I hope she's getting the video in a few seconds. Let's see if I can speed up the process. And we're talking another time with someone about how their life was the last 12 months. There she is. Let's see if I can invite her. So, for those who haven't seen the first episodes, I'm actually having a talk with some yoga teachers or yogis around the world, and I'm curious to know how they spent the quarantine, the life in the past year, because of those circumstances we had. Everybody got challenged in my imagination, and how real people managed to go through this. That's what I want to know. And instead of just hearing always the news and the numbers and stuff like that, I want to have a real face and listen to a real life story. So let's see if Chiara can join. I already sent her the invitation. Yep. So let's have a bit of patience. Maybe she needs a minute more. Anyway, if you know a yogi, or if you are a yogi, she writes me. Still cannot access again. What are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do now? Can you write a comment, Chiara? Maybe I can then get you into the live stream more easily. And yeah, so if you know a yogi, or you're a yogi by yourself and you're up for a talk with me, we can schedule a meeting and maybe also have a talk together. That would be nice. There you are. So now I can say to add you. I think it's working now. Yes. Finally.
Wow, finally. Oh my God.
Okay. Hi again. Second try.
Second try. I'm good. What about you guys?
Oh yeah, we are quite good. Yes, too.
Enjoying the sun? Beautiful
Enjoying
weather?
the sun. We had a bit of a bad weather last week, but now it's getting 15 degrees, sun and upwards, like 17, 18, 19. The next weeks will be, I think, winter time is over, spring is up to come.
It's coming.
Summer.
Yes, yes. It's the same in Sicily here. I arrived on Saturday morning and it was really cold and rainy. And today's the first day of sun. I can show you a little bit of this view also. It's like, I don't know if you can see.
No,
The
I
sky
just
is
see white.
Oops, okay. Here. You can see a bit of the sun outside.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're in Palermo at the moment, yeah?
I'm in Palermo and I will be
Okay.
here for 2 weeks more. And
Yeah.
then I'm coming back to Germany.
But you're from Palermo, is that right?
I'm from Palermo, exactly. I was born
Uh,
and raised here, and
so
then
you
I
speak
moved to Germany. Yeah,
Italian, you speak German, English, something else?
and that's it. That's it.
Okay, a
A
little bit of
little, yes,
Sanskrit.
a little bit of yeah. Very little bit, yes. But I'm improving. I'm learning so much.
Cool,
Trying to.
cool, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So as you maybe already know, I'm doing the series where I just talk to some yogis, yoga teachers about their life in the pandemic. And I have some nice questions for you. But if at any point you don't feel comfortable to answer to a question, just say skip or something, and I don't take
Okay.
it personally, and we go to the next question. Yeah?
Okay.
I want you to feel comfy during the whole
Enough.
thing. Okay.
Let's try.
Uh, so we were lucky. We saw us the last time a bit more than a year ago in India, I think.
Yes.
And we didn't know that this will come. Uh, and then suddenly Corona happened. But before that, maybe you can say 1, 2 words to yourself, like how is your normal lifestyle, maybe before Corona hit? What did you do in your life?
Yes. So first of all, I have to first say that I became a full-time yoga teacher after I came back from India. So it
Yeah,
was March last year.
yeah,
And before that, so before Corona, I was working in the art field. I was working in art galleries.
yes.
So my life was really different then. I was teaching yoga just part-time, but really on and off. Not,
Mm.
I was not really. It was not my intention to become a full-time yoga teacher. So before Corona was, I would say, more a yoga practitioner
Yeah.
than a yoga teacher. But yeah, life was completely different. I remember going to yoga studios and having this full experience of
Yeah, yeah,
a yoga class, you know, where you are with in a room full of people and you get this nice collective energy from everyone.
Mhm.
And I have to say, I miss this a lot. Last
Mm.
time I had this feeling was in summer
Last
in
summer, yeah.
Berlin,
Yes.
exactly, and then yeah,
Yeah, Corona. So
Corona happened. Yeah.
if you would need to give Corona to describe Corona as an animal, which animal? How would it look like? You can also create a fantasy animal, a mixture of animals or something. But
Oh wow.
how would it
Yeah.
look? How would it? What kind of sounds would it do? How would it look like? Yeah, please.
Maybe like a like an annoying um, kind of, I don't know, annoying kind of like small dogs, you know, this kind of like stupid, not stupid, but this kind of very annoying
They
dogs
always like
that are
bark.
just exactly running around. They're just unpredictable and
Yeah,
just very noisy and just very, very annoying,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, so was
You know those I don't know creatures with the 9 heads. Is it called a hydra or something?
Hydra. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
hit one head and two new
And
ones
then
come.
a
That's
new
like for
one
me, I
comes
think.
up. Yeah, yeah, that's also very a mythological figure. Yes, definitely could be.
Okay. And for me, it feels a little bit like we're holding a yoga posture, but since a year. You're just like, okay,
Which one?
holding it, breathe, and hold. Okay, so your lifestyle actually was going into full-time yoga teacher, which I guess was your decision and you really enjoyed to do, and then shut down, lockdown, you were not able to do anymore, I guess. So what did you do, and how did it feel?
So when I began teaching, like first experience in teaching full-time yoga was already in the Corona time. So I had this, I was teaching in a studio where I'm still teaching now in Berlin, where we had some people in the room, just a very few. There were some restrictions about between six and eight people. And I also had people online. So I had this camera always there in the studio, but also people. So it was like a kind of like mixed situation.
A so-called hybrid class.
Exactly. Which was quite okay. But it was so weird for me because I was new to this kind of I was new to teaching yoga. And for me, starting in front of a camera where I could not see the people behind was pretty tough, was pretty weird also at the beginning. But I got lucky because summer was a bliss. Like all the studio for at least 2 or 3 months in Berlin just opened without restrictions. So I had this 2-3 months of time to really get this full experience, you know, like having quite a lot of people also in the room and just practicing and teaching in front of students.
So you gained a lot of energy from those 3 months.
Exactly. Yeah. So when the second lockdown came, it was in November, I was prepared already. And I think my perspective and also my state of mind was just different, very different from the beginning. I was more relaxed. Still, it's not easy, I would say. It's not always nice to, especially when you teach and you have a lot of dark screens in front of you, like people that don't want to show their faces. So sometimes it's hard to just stay high in spirit, like keep thinking positive and
But I guess even though for us as a teacher it's not the most nice experience to have black screens, I guess we are also still give people a good feeling because they can do something at home and maybe we inspiring them more, but there's no feedback, and that's for me very difficult. So I stopped actually teaching online because I need those feedback, and if someone is with a black screen and afterwards says thank you and then goes, I don't know, I don't get a connection really. Do you also find, how do you deal with those missing connection in general?
It was pretty bad for me as well at the beginning, but now I must say still it's different, but I have the feeling that even if I don't see the people that are in my classes, like I probably never saw their faces just for 5 seconds, you know, when they open the camera at the end of the class. But I, like, after months of teaching like this and having always the same people in my classes, I developed the feeling of like having a sort of connection, even if I don't really know them. But as you said, that you asked me before, I was for you to start teaching yoga. It was your desire, it was your passion. For me, I still feel this is like such a privilege for me that I came up doing what I really wanted to do. So for me, still teaching yoga during the pandemic is still something I'm really grateful for every day, even if it's just like it is at the moment, but it still gives me a lot of, a lot of positive vibes, I would say.
That's good to hear. What kind of style do you teach?
I teach Vinyasa. I teach different classes at the moment, but mostly Vinyasa. I'm like, as a practitioner, I'm getting so much into Kundalini right now, but I also do a lot of Hatha and Yin and Jivamukti as well. But right now I'm deepening it. This is also a good thing. Like Corona time, you have so much time to spend with yourself that you just start, you know, studying or just deepening into something.
That would be another question I also have prepared. So did you start something new, and what was it? And how did you learn it? Was it from an online training, or how did it happen?
Yes, yes. I'm learning Kundalini yoga online on a platform with a teacher that I know from for many years. She was teaching vinyasa. She's called Erica Jago, and she's one of my favorite teachers ever. I only practice with her online, but I always had this sort of nice connection. And she's teaching Kundalini now, so I'm following her classes, and I feel like my practice is getting so on a different level somehow.
So we
nice.
have had this experience together in India, where we had like face-to-face real teaching, and you have now the comparison to an online teaching. Do you find a big difference between those, or is it did also the online give you very much in a different way maybe, or how was that?
It's different because I have much time for myself. Like when I finish the class, I have much more time to just spend thinking and reflecting on what I practiced. And when I was in India with you, it was always like there was always somebody to talk to. Yes, which was super nice as well, because this is also a way of reflecting on things. You know, when you talk to somebody after the class, just exchanging the feelings. So it was different. Of course, the first variation, the first version, like the one we had in India, was way better, like totally different. Yeah, definitely better. Like, yeah.
So can you remember back when you heard the first time of Corona, and how you felt regarding Corona? Did you think straight away, oh, it's a big thing, or was it something like a side note for you, or did you got an emotional rush or something?
I remember perfectly the first time I heard about Corona. It was in India. It was in the shala where we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I think it was a breakfast, and I was sitting with Sudhir. And Sudhir came. He had Sudhir is was our philosophy teacher, for those who don't know who Sudhir is. And he came with his phone in the hand, and he was like, guys, there is a virus in China. It's killing a lot of people. It looks like really serious. And I was with Ellen and some other girls, and we were just looking at each other and saying like, yeah, but this is probably something that will last 1 month, and then it will stay where it is, and we will get over it in just a few weeks. And I could have never imagined what has happened then. It was crazy.
And now, like a year later, we went through all of this. What is your general mood
right now? Is I'm feeling positive again. I think it's also the starting of the spring. You see some more light after for us living in the north of Europe, you're lucky ones living in Corfu.
We had a really lucky winter.
But I'm feeling really positive. I know that this isn't over yet, but I see some light, maybe at the end, at the middle of summer, but I can see some change.
Did you go through an emotional up and down somehow?
Just one, maybe
how
two,
many?
3. A lot. I think the toughest month was January. January was pretty tough for me. Also because I'm not used to stay in Germany the whole winter. I always had this nice break in between, like for Christmas holiday.
Yeah.
And I was not seeing my family for the first time in all my life this year. I was staying in Berlin. And January was the darkest month ever. We had maybe 1 day of light, and that's it. And that was really tough for me. I was thinking about, I'm just I'm quitting.
Wow.
I don't want to do this anymore. And of course, when you don't have, because it's also for us, we work with energy. So if we don't have that in yourself, it's really hard to give that to others. So it was really, really difficult for me to teach yoga, even just online, because I felt so like overwhelmed really and energy deprived. It was,
And obviously you came out of that, but how? What did you
That's a
do?
good
Was it
question. That's a good question.
was it a partner? Was it the yoga practice? What was it?
It was
Or life?
both, and it was, I think, yeah, I don't know, I kept on going somehow, and I waited, and then one day it just like everything was suddenly a bit better, and then the day after a little bit better. So it was just like everything, you know, in life. It's just these moments where you feel like everything is going down, and then
Yeah,
suddenly it goes up again, and you don't know really why this is happening.
yeah,
But somehow you find the strength in yourself when you, I think, when you touch the deepest low, and then you always start to
yeah.
go high again. Somehow it's magic.
But
I don't know.
was there something that helped you or that gave you security or that brought you through these times? Did you do something? Did you do more practice or meditation, or did you spoke more to your partner? Or was that something you could pick or pinpoint to, like what helped you during this time?
I would say yoga for sure, but maybe it was talking a lot with my partner for sure. We've been really close to each other. It was a bliss to spend this lockdown with him, but also with my friend in Palermo. We were
Okay.
Skyping a lot during
Yeah.
winter, and we were sharing a lot of emotions and different perspectives on things. And
Yeah.
this really helped me so much to just not feel alone in this, like feeling that even if we were apart, we were kind of like sharing the same experiences on a emotional level for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did also the relation change to your partner? Because I mean, to be so close for such a long time without being allowed to go out in a situation which never happened before, I mean,
Yes.
that does something to a relation, I guess. But
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
seems like,
Yeah.
as you said, he really helped you and it was a bliss.
Yeah. I'm sure it changed a lot in a
It
positive
brought you
way, closer.
more together,
Yeah.
closer in a positive
Closer
way.
to each other.
That's really nice to
And
hear.
and you know what also, what I think also helped us as a couple, he
Tell me.
started doing yoga with me, and
Ah,
is like my first student. He does all of my classes. Like when I teach online at
yeah.
home, he's always with his mat next to me, and he's practicing
Nice.
with me all the time.
Yeah, that's really
And it,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's about sharing something together, something that is so important to me. I think just help us to get closer to each other, I guess.
Ah, nice to hear. So, how do you consume news as a person, as a yogi? Do you consume many
Yeah.
news media from outside and social media, TV? Do you read magazines, or how do you get your information, or do you just block everything?
I do not block everything, but I'm not obsessed with news. I like to be informed, of course, even because
Yeah.
I live away from my family, so I or also want to know and
Going
like
on there.
keep myself updated on what's happening in Italy. But I'm not obsessed at all. So the first thing I do in the morning, we have a radio in the kitchen. I just turn it on in Berlin,
Yeah.
and I hear the news and what's happening, and then I just turn it off, go for my day, and that's it. If something comes up, something very important, I will
Yeah.
know somehow. but I'm not looking at the news all day, and just not at all. This is
How you
just to
consider which news is true for you, or how do you receive your how do you build the construct of reality? Like, what is
mm,
now right, what is wrong, what is true, what is fake news, or how do you deal with
it's
that?
it's a bit of a patchwork sometimes. You just hear different news and different perspectives on things, and you
Yeah.
just, at the end of the day, you just collect some of them, and you make your own idea
Yeah.
about things. Yes, it's also about fake news. Is really, this is a big topic, I would say. Very hard to answer this question. But yeah, as I say, I try not to over obsess myself with, yeah, with
Which is, I
this.
think, very healthy.
I think so too. Yeah, and yeah.
Tell me, tell me a highlight of the past year, and maybe a low light as well.
Highlight India and
Okay, almost doesn't count because it was already
because it
more
was
than a year, but
pre
it's okay.
lockdown. Okay, I give you another one.
Okay.
Highlight was starting to teach yoga in the beautiful studio where I still teach,
Mm.
which is in Berlin, and it's a Haar studio. It's this what I think the first day of teaching there was my one of the most amazing days I had in my life. I was finally having my dream, and everything seemed like perfectly aligned.
Yeah.
Yes, this was the highlight. And hmm, uh, haha. There are so many, I would say. Like,
Right.
um, I think the second lockdown, the beginning
Mm.
of November, where
Mm.
everything was so uncertain,
Mm.
and winter was about to begin soon, and all these things combined together just was a lot to
And
take.
dominant feeling at this time?
Dominant fear
Fear. Fear of the unknown, fear
of
of
the
the
unknown,
virus, of
no, of the unknown, and not knowing what is about to happen.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely of the unknown. Yeah.
Speaking of fear, how do you deal with fear? Do you utilize it? Do you like try to block it? What do you do? How is fear like showing up in your life? How do you react?
I I learned to stay with it, and this is also thanks to the yoga practice that I do.
Yeah.
So I never reject it. I understand that it's totally okay and totally valuable to feel this way,
Mm.
especially right now. And I
Mm.
always encourage people to just stay also with this kind of feelings, because it's absolutely normal, and it would be abnormal not to have any of these feelings, I think.
Yeah. And
So yeah.
they also can help you, I think. Fear is a protection emotion that can help you for some things, but yeah, I totally agree. I
Definitely.
find it very, very important to say stay with the emotion and actually like feel the emotion. Yeah. How does
Yes,
it show in my
yes,
body? How does it show in my thoughts? What kind of thoughts are creating fear? What kind of like feeling in all these areas of the being? What does it do? And
absolutely. Yeah,
what is
yeah,
created out of it when I stay with it? Yeah, so
absolutely.
important.
Yeah, and it's suddenly you realize when you learn how to stay with certain feelings, they are not
Mm.
scary anymore after some
Yeah,
time, right? Because
yeah,
they become kind of familiar in some ways,
yeah,
which is yeah, very nice, and yeah.
yeah. What do you say is the biggest learning for number one, for you, for your personal life, and two, what is the learning we should take as society, as humanity out of this?
On a personal level, I learned that you cannot really plan, like you can anything in life, that this idea that we can plan and have everything under control is absolutely a fake. And that everything is changing. I mean, we knew that before, but this has just shown us, like it's really.
We knew it. Yeah, we knew it from the
We knew
scriptures.
it.
Like everything is changing, but
Exactly.
to live it is a different thing. But I totally agree.
It's a different thing. Yeah, and I think on a collective level, I think there was so much to learn during this year about the important things in life, about really
What
coming
are
back
those?
to connections, human
Mm.
connections,
Mm.
and just that you can actually live a life and be content with very few things, that these are the things that really matter in life. And when you have those, you have everything. Like the rest is absolutely a surplus, like something extra, you know.
Yeah.
I think that is the basically, and to value those things, to value those relationships, to value those connections, and to value the time that you spend with your loved ones, because
Yeah.
you never know when it's the next time you can be with them. Not
I
not
absolutely
that
agree.
they're going to die, but it's just, you know, the distance thing and the closing boundaries. And yeah, it was scary again.
It is, yeah. Do you also think that, for example, those teaching over online platform or what we are doing now, having a physical distance is teaching us to feel each other without being next to each other on a more like spiritual level or energetic level? Is that something that we learn through that? Could that be, or is that nonsense?
It could. I think it's because, you know, I think it's because we are all, like, even if we are not practicing together on a physical level, I think there is some certain kind of feelings and emotion that we all share as a, like on a universal level, I would say, right now. So even if we do not see each other, there is still, for me, as I mean, this is my feeling, there is still, I think, a feeling of like feeling connected around the same, yeah, the same feelings or the same emotions also, if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm teaching a class during the week. It's called Yoga for Mental Health. And what I notice is that I notice, especially in this class, that people feel very connected even to each other. Maybe it's because we talk also about, you know, these feelings, and can be overwhelming. And still, like, even if we're not sharing the same space, I have the feeling that somehow we are kind of creating this a community behind dark screens, which sound a bit weird and scary again, but still, I think it's valid as well. I think it's okay at the moment.
Yeah. Um, there are often the words of scary, fear, and it's not just you're saying that. Also, I hear it often, and it's a lot out there. I think even if people don't say it, I can feel it if I see someone across the street which has a mask and like hiding and there's no one around. I mean, it's a bit different here in Greece. We are at the beach and there's no one, so there's really no need to wear a mask. And I sometimes just have the feeling like there are people who are deeply afraid of whatever, getting the virus or something.
Yeah.
Also in social media, I see many people that are afraid of going into a dictatorship or that there is a big conspiracy or something, which is all valid. Like everybody is allowed to have their fear, but what can we do to reduce that fear, especially as yoga teachers? Do you have an idea?
Especially as yoga teacher.
Or as a human, or as you?
Oh, it's a good question again. It's a very difficult, I think, to deal with fear, especially in people. I think the first step we all should do is to respect that and to not force anyone who doesn't feel safe to, do anything that they don't want to do. And at the same time, again, talking about the rightfulness to feel fear. And just maybe start working with that for the beginning. Just working on accepting and just build some trust somehow in your own power, in your own I think that this could be like working on this kind of, but it's very difficult because you never knows where it does come from, this feeling of fear. It can have many roots, and usually they're very, very deep inside.
And they get triggered by something from the outside or someone.
Exactly.
If it's all omnipresent in the media, it's like triggering your own old fears also. So it's mixing up and coming together. But as you said in the beginning, I think sit with it is one first big step, and also talking about it is wonderful.
And also, of course, developing a critical mind, like the ability to discern what is true from what is not true, and just, not taking everything that you get from outside, not taking everything that you get from the media, but just start to, develop your own trust also in yourself and in your thinking.
Could you describe a little bit how your daily life looks like? Just
right now in Palermo.
In Palermo or back there in Berlin. I guess it's not, as you said, it's not like before. So in quarantine or now in Palermo, how's the daily life look like in Berlin, in Palermo?
It looks like it looks very not so stressed. I'm not stressed at all. Like it's very. I wake up. I usually wake up around 8, not super early. I do some little bit of yoga, maybe some meditation, and then usually I start.
How long do you do that?
Not so much. In the morning, I just do something very quick to just, wake up the body. Could be 10, 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then I'm good to go, because then I do a lot of yoga during the day. I usually prepare my classes or I do my own practice, and it's basically really all day long, like in the morning, in the afternoon. Then sometimes I have to teach, and right now I'm teaching from home, but also from the studio, which means I go to the studio and I'm alone in front of a camera. It's quite funny if you look at me from outside. And then
you're not the only one.
Yeah, I know. The evenings are pretty much the same. It's always dinner, film, like watching a movie, Netflix, reading sometimes, and we did some gong bath recently.
Nice.
Which was pretty cool. Also very late, like was 9:30, from 9:30 to 10:30. So after that, you were just ready to go to bed. It was amazing. It was like, wow, mind blowing. Yeah.
We went just after India. We went to Bali for a singing bowl training, like doing treatments with singing bowls
Nice.
on people.
Yeah.
It was,
Wow. How long did you do that?
it was just 10 days or something, but
Wow, that's super
it was very
nice.
intense, and
Yeah.
the sound is a strong healer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, saying that, healing. How's your relation to health? How do you keep yourself, your body, your mind healthy? And what do you consider as healthy and as sick?
It's also a good question. I think like this is also something I learned through yoga, and I'm very grateful for that. To just listen to my body and observe a lot. And I think this is the key. Like if you want to keep a healthy body and a healthy mind, you
Yeah,
really have to develop this ability to listen and
very
understand what
important.
is going on exactly, and give yourself the time to rest when you need to. And when, yeah, and I think that's I must say I've not been super healthy on a physical level last year because I had a back pain problem. It started in India, and I had to. I'm doing a lot of osteopathy right now, which is helping. But what is helping most is the practice of awareness, like just simply standing, uh, like really standing like in a mountain pose, and just observing how
Of
is my body
sensations.
exactly. Like, yeah, it's giving me a lot of insight and understanding about
Yeah.
what I should do and what it's crazy. Like my whole, like the entire way I am kind of like I treat my body, and I see my body has changed completely
Yeah.
since.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For me too, the body is a mirror of the self. And if something in the body shows up, you can always find it on another level in your mind
Exactly.
or in your
Yeah.
emotions or in your past.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so important. I think it's one basic key, fundamental key of, yeah, of self-awareness and being connected to yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also working with emotions to heal your body on a physical level. It's something that can make a huge difference.
Oh,
It's
yes, it's a
incredible.
game
Like,
changer.
wow.
I'm at the moment, I'm being in a yoga nidra practice. I practice it every day, and it's so intense, and it's going really deep. I can really
Okay. Yeah.
recommend it. If
Yeah.
you don't do it regularly, it's really cool. Um, and to bring the look onto more as, no, let me frame it differently. Who's responsible for being healthy? Like that, for your health, for your own health. Is it you? Is it the government? Is it the people around you? Is it a mixture? What is it? So who is responsible for it?
It's it's definitely me first, but it's also the government and the surrounding, because of course it's somehow like a social responsibility. I mean, I am lucky because I am a yoga teacher. I am a yoga practitioner, so I know how to do yoga by myself. But if you live in a country where everything is shut down and you cannot even, like, the only thing you can do is do some workout online. It's not for everyone,
Yeah.
and I know that because I know a lot of people who just don't like practicing online, and that's okay. But it doesn't, like, you should then really be able to take care of yourself in some other ways. So I think on this level, it's also government responsibility to just kind of like create awareness in people. Like, okay, it's Corona time. We have to shut down the studio, the fitness studios, and that's understandable. But I think one great way to also like get out of this situation would be to actually talk about health and create awareness in people how to keep a healthy lifestyle, because this is also a way we can all heal as humanity. I mean, the virus is of course a huge thing. I'm not saying that this is, but it starts from there, you know. It starts from if people understand and know how to take care of themselves. So maybe to talk more about this kind of topic, like eating healthy, move yourself, go out for a walk, you know, and not only pointing fingers and say, okay, we close this, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Just also giving some positive input to people, you know. Just, okay, you cannot do that, but you can do this, you know. This is something I've been missing a lot in the last year, like some, you know.
It's, I find too the focus is a bit too much on the this is forbidden
Prohibitions.
and this is dangerous,
Yeah.
and going to this is good and that's healthy and we gonna go through this. It's a bit missing here. But from a greater perspective, do you think Corona happened by accident, or is it something that's there to show us something, or to transform us? Or is there a higher meaning of this happening?
Definitely. I think we should all like take a hard look in the mirror, I would say,
Okay.
and really change our way of living in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, Corona definitely showed us that the way we are living right now, it's not sustainable for anyone. Not only Corona, there are a lot of other different factors that are showing us that we have to change our habits if we still want to keep this planet alive. And I think this is something we should really listen to. We should really start to change basically everything, that, like the way we have lived until now, like really from the bottom to the top. And it's
Sounds
hard.
like a lot of work.
It is. It's incredible, really. I'm starting to make some huge changes in my life and routine, like not buying plastic. And it's so hard. It's unbelievably hard.
I stopped buying at Amazon a time
Yeah.
ago, and it's like, oh wow, I still research what's on Amazon to see then how can I get it somewhere else. Like little things.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I'm running through, I think I went to every bookshop in Berlin, like really every single bookshop, because I'm trying to also stop buying in Amazon. It was pretty difficult during the lockdown where everything was closed in Germany. So, wow.
And what I really like at the moment here in Greece, it's also a bit the mentality of those people, like the family I'm in now from Athena. We're doing as much as we can by ourselves. So we created those meditation pillows. We have someone who can saw. We ordered the buckwheat hulls, but we made those pillows by ourselves. We now creating yoga blocks. We created this room. We creating like eye pillows by ourselves. We try to just think first before we buy it. Like, can we do this by ourselves? And it's so much fun at the same time. You know, it's not just that we don't need to transfer something from China to Greece. We also owning those items afterwards, because it's, if you have put to work with your own hands in something, it's a different relation you have to.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that could also be just an approach to think 1 second about, do I need it? How can I do it by myself? If not, there's also many reasons to get it from someone else. But,
It's a really good point. Yes. Yeah.
Maybe as one of the last questions, I hear it all in all corners. There's a big awakening. World is somehow transforming, people awakening. I mean, yoga is going big. What is happening? What is happening? Is maybe Corona even is a part of it? People for the first time are locked in, sitting with themselves, don't know what to do, and thinking about their life, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So is there a transformation? Some scriptures also say like we're going into the age of Aquarius, a new age. What is happening? Do you have a story? Do you have an idea?
I'm also noticing that there is some sort of like longing for some kind of more spiritual, more real like connections. And I think one of the reasons is because we have reached a point as a humanity, as a global community, where capitalism has really almost, I don't know, somehow deprived us of this deep sense of humanity and what it means to be human. So I think one of the reasons is that people are just starting to wake up again and just feel that there is something missing in this whole way of living and perceiving the world. So I think this could be a good point, because as human beings we have that, I think, inside us, so we know what it means, what is real and what is meaningful. It's just a question of waking up, of realizing this bullshit. I just don't need all of that. And maybe Corona will help us in that. Like
is yoga also a way?
Absolutely. Yeah. Cultivating presence in yoga, through yoga, I think is the key. Like if you have that, if you have experienced
I get goosebumps.
Oh, wow.
Cultivating presence. That's it,
Yes.
absolutely.
That's definitely a deal. Yeah. So let's keep the fingers crossed for this humanity that we have. And this
last question.
Yeah.
How does the future look like?
Bright.
How do we live in 10 years? Bright.
Bright, because we still have the possibility to change. And I will always have faith in our ability to make the right choices. I'm an optimistic person. I have that inside me. I cannot stop this. So I will always say, even when everything looks so dark, sometimes I have hope that things will get better. But we have to work on that. It's not happening by itself. We really have to get the shit together and do the work.
I absolutely agree, and I love your honesty, and I imagine it comes really from the heart.
It does. It does.
I enjoyed very much to speak to you.
Me too, Cedric. It was super nice to see you. Say hi to Athena for me.
I do. Enjoy your time in Palermo. And
thank you so much.
Maybe share your link or wherever I can find some classes of you, or for whoever sees that they can try and join maybe a class in Palermo or in Berlin.
In Palermo or in Berlin,
online
exactly.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me, Cedric.
Yes. Namaste.
Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Ciao. Bye-bye.